The DCEU, the DC Comics Extended Universe, goes out with not a bang, more of a whimper, with its 15th and final film before James Gunn takes over and takes the universe and its characters into a whole different direction. We're going to have a whole new DC Comics cinematic universe over the next few years. But first, we got to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This is in theaters right now. It had a pretty decent start at first, but I think word got out then that maybe this was a more subpar film in what has been a pretty inconsistent franchise overall, the DC Extended Universe. But look, we'll get into all of that here in just a moment. First, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here, and just about every day I try to post something new. So always a lot to check out, always something new going up. So please consider subscribing, click that notification bell, click that like button, and comment below. All that stuff does help the channel out. All right, so I've mentioned the inconsistency of the DC universe before. I think maybe when I was talking about The Flash, which was a great movie, really probably my favorite, well, other than the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's great. But other than that, I would say The Flash is probably my favorite superhero movie of the year. And that was part of the DC Extended Universe. But I talked about this in the Flash video as well, but it's been so inconsistent. For every Wonder Woman, which was amazing, you get Wonder Woman 84, which was horrible. And you've got the Suicide Squad movie, the second one, which was really fantastic. One of the best of the franchise. But then that first one, I liked it more than most, but it was certainly uneven. Right? And then you've got the Dwayne Johnson Black Adam. That was horrible. So listen, this movie is putting a pin in the DC Extended Universe. And like a lot of these movies, like with Wonder Woman and Shazam, I had the same issues with the first one. I thought was great. Second one, average at best. Fury of the Gods. I think that was earlier this year as well. But Shazam or Aquaman 1, I thought was good at the time. I gave it a B. And I don't really remember much about it, to be honest. So I was a little confused as to what was going on at first in this movie. Should have probably, done a little recap of what happened in the original film. They kind of tell you a couple things, but then I thought this one was a huge letdown from that one. This could be one of the worst movies in the entire DC Extended Universe, and that is no easy feat because there are some stinkers in there that I've already mentioned. But this was, like the first one, directed by James Wan, and he is mostly known for his horror films. I mean, he is, he shaped the Conjuring universe and the Saw franchise and the Insidious franchise. So mostly, he works in the more horror realm, but he has directed now both Aquaman movies, and of course we have Jason Momoa returning as Aquaman, and a lot of people are back from that first movie, including Nicole Kidman, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Patrick Wilson, Amber Heard is here as well, and I will say, I have never liked Amber Heard. This goes back way before the whole Johnny Depp trial thing. I know there's been a lot of feelings about her in the last year or so, or maybe more than that at this point. But her character did not really play prominently into this movie. I thought she was easily the worst part of the first Aquaman movie. I just don't think she's a good actress. But, look, my opinion on her in this film has nothing to do with anything exterior. I didn't watch the Johnny Depp trial. I'm not really interested. But I have never been a fan of her acting. Luckily, though, she is not in this movie very much. So she is not really the weak link of this movie. It's a lot of the other things going on. But let me give you a very brief description of what's happening. So, we have Aquaman here having to team up with his half-brother, who's played by Patrick Wilson, who was, the big bad villain in the first movie, and he was jailed and all of this. So Aquaman has to break him out of jail to help each other prevent Black Manta, who is the Abdul Mateen, the second character. He was in the first movie as well, who wants to exact revenge on Aquaman and kill his family and use the cursed Black Trident to overheat the world. And that is what's happening in this movie. So listen, like a lot of things in the DC Extended Universe, we've talked a lot about this already, just in the last few minutes, but like a lot of things in the DCEU, Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom just doesn't know what it wants to be. It is having an identity crisis, and none of the parts are really working that well. This movie seems like it's knowingly bad. Like, okay, we're going to be tongue-in-cheek, and there's a bunch of, like, comedy elements that I'm not sure if, maybe a couple of them worked, but most of them didn't. I mean, look, Jason Momoa has charisma to spare. He is an excellent choice as Aquaman. He always was, and he really carried that first movie, and he was a big part of why some of those other, groupings worked, like the Justice League movie. Listen, for all of the DCEU's faults, getting the right actor for the right part is not one of them. All of the people really that they've gotten for their main roles, have been great. I really enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and all of that. Ezra Miller as the Flash, also great. So that's by far not the problem either. He is really trying here, but the script is such a mess that even Momoa can't really salvage it. He's really trying with some of the comedy moments, and like I said, that's fine. But the CGI is terrible for the most part. The basic premise is fine, but watching this was just like, I could not believe that they didn't put more effort into this. And here's the problem, I think. Somewhere about halfway through the filming of this movie, or something like that, maybe a third of the way through, but at some point during the filming, the word came down that, okay, James Gunn is going to take over the DC universe, and we're going to kind of start fresh with a whole new universe. And so I think at that point, and look, I could be way off on this, but this is how it came across to me watching it, because the movie is so disjointed and so does not understand what it even is or wants to be. I wonder if they were just like, you know what? Let's just throw everything at the screen, see what works. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters with this movie because it's the final movie of, a limping along extended universe, to begin with. And look, I thought The Flash was great, like I said, but it did not do very well at the box office. I didn't think the second Shazam was that good. So even this year alone, the franchise has been wildly inconsistent. And so I don't know. Did the filmmakers just kind of give up halfway through and say, well, look, I guess we've got to put this thing out, but we can't build anything up for future installments of anything. In fact, I didn't even stay to see if there was a mid-credits sequence, because I figured, well, what would the point of that be? It may be some sort of joke tag scene or something, but like, obviously we can't build towards anything. So, that's number one. And part of, the appeal of a lot of these superhero movies is that it's sort of connecting with the world that they've already created and setting things up a little bit for the next movie. Marvel, okay, it's a little overkill now, but Marvel sort of has perfected that over the years. And boy, I don't know. Is that why this movie is such a mess? It almost falls into that so bad it's good category, but I feel like with those types of movies, you at least maybe want to watch them again. This is easily one of the worst offerings of the DC Extended Universe, but it is no fault of Jason Momoa's. I really think he's giving his all here. Patrick Wilson's fine as the brother, I guess, as well. But it's everything around Momoa that is just falling to pieces. I leave Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom with a D+. I think maybe that's the same grade I gave Black Adam. I would have to look at my 2022 grades, but it was somewhere in there. It was either a D or a D+. So, look, not recommended for me, but if you do want to check it out, the final DCEU movie, it is in theaters still right now, and you can check it out, compare and contrast with some of your rankings on the DC Extended Universe films. But all right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.